preseason practice underway, a couple days in. How do you feel about the group so far?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. They came back in shape. Today's our third day of inter-squad, trying to take advantage of the weather. As we all know here, when it's nice out, you got to take advantage of it. It's going to get cold the next few days, so we'll probably have to go back inside. But right out the gate, it's been better than expected. So, I think everybody's excited to be back out there, and the guys are in shape, and so we've kind of hit the ground running.
What are just some of the things you want to accomplish this first week or two of practice?
Yeah, just get it right back in their routine. They got class and weights and practice. Get them in routine, get them out of here healthy, and then this time of year you get worried about viruses, flu, stuff like that. Just keep everybody as healthy as we can. And once we get into week 2 and week 3, you get more into the detail side of this thing and start getting into preparation mode for the teams you're going to be playing. But right now, just getting them back in routine and back in game shape.
Is like that week 2, week 3 phase when you kind of start figuring out maybe in terms of lineup, pitching rotation, things like that?
Yeah, I'd say week 4 and 5, you kind of have the rotation lining up for opening weekend, but we have a lot of really good arms, and I think you're going to see a lot of different guys in different roles again this year early, really position player-wise too. I think we were good on the mound last year, and now we're deeper, and we're still old. And then position player-wise, there's going to be probably some guys in and out of the lineup trying to figure that out probably into the first 2-3 weeks of the season. It's been really competitive out there, and I couldn't tell you what the lineup's going to be. I could probably tell you 5 or 6 of the starters probably, but I really couldn't tell you what the line would be at opening day. And then starting roles, we're trying to transition Chase Richter into a starter from the back end. We know he can close the game, and so he's making that transition. Hopefully it goes really well, but it's nice to have in your back pocket that if it doesn't work out there, we can shove him back to where he's comfortable, and he'll be fine in either place.
Speaking of Richter, how big of a boost when you heard the news that he was going to come back for this season?
Yeah, it's huge. It's not even just what he does on the field as far as his performance, but it's just his leadership and the way he approaches every day and his work ethic in the weight room, in the locker room. He's been through a lot of adversity in his career, and everybody here at Arkansas State didn't get to see that. I was with him for 2 years before we came here, and just to see his growth is tremendous. And so just being able to tell some young players that he's been through that before, and he ended up being a really good player in this day and age where players don't really stick around very long if they're not getting the playing time they want. I think it's really helpful to have that type of leadership in our locker room.
Who are some of the other returners you've kind of already noticed making a big jump and kind of carrying over maybe a lot of momentum from the fall into the spring?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the fall and the spring. I would say, really from the start to end of last year, the improvement just continued through the summer and then into next year. You had Jake Henry Williams and Cross Jumper. They're better players than they were. Kaysen Campbell, Caden Amundsen, Patrick Enskove. Really good. And then on the mound, normal cast of characters from last year, but they're all better. They're more physical, they're more athletic. They've been out there before. And then in their defense, they know what to expect now. The guys that I brought with me kind of had an idea what to expect from myself and the coaching staff. But in all fairness, transition's really hard on anybody at any level, and it was really hard on the players, I thought. And they did a great job responding to it. And then coming back in this year, just that comfort level. They just kind of know what's expected of them. And there's been so many of them that have been so good. And I think that's really helped get our new players acclimated. That's been because obviously in this day and age of college athletics, about half your roster is new every year, if you're lucky. And so juggling that's a challenge, but those guys have done a great job.
Who are some newcomers you've already felt like have really kind of impressed you so far?
Yeah, they all have. I really like our young class. I bet we have 4 freshmen that have a chance to start. They're battling with some older players, and they're on their heels right now. And, Jalen Fox is a really good player out of Orlando, Florida. And then Derek Martinez has been outstanding this fall. And if you told me right now how to make a lineup out, they'd be in contention to be in that starting lineup. And the thing you're worried about them is consistency, just because they haven't been through, and our league is so difficult. So you're trying to get them confidence, and when they do get their confidence stolen and they deal with some failure, they're going to be able to handle it. And that's some of the things you're worried about. Drew Gartman's a kid from Valley View, and he had his battles this fall, but he's really, each week it seems like he's improved. And so just excited about the future in him. And, on the mound we have we have so many young arms that are really, really talented. I can't really go through all of them. But, some guys that redshirted maybe at bigger schools last year that have really come into their own. Houston Tomlinson, he's been up there 93, 97 miles an hour with really good stuff. He was at Texas A&M last year, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of them like that are here right now that have really kind of hit their stride, and they were just looking for an opportunity, and they needed a little bit of tweaks, and they needed to grow, and we're starting to see kind of the fruits of their labor and the work they've put in right now. So it's exciting going into the season, and I think we're a lot better, but we're going to need to be to compete in this league.
Preseason practice going on, Grand Slam Banquet on the horizon. Just how cool is it, who the guests you were able to bring in this year, just how big of a thrill is it? I mean, Mike and Sharon Hargrove.
Yeah, just unbelievable. Their wealth of knowledge, and I always say it's a fit. I think when you get hired for jobs, it's got to be a fit. You got to be able to fit in the community. I thought this was a good fit for myself and my family. And then when we're looking to bring people in, you want it to be a fit. And Mike and Sharon will connect. I know the hometown they grew up in and their story, and I think just their ability to connect with the audience and the people. And more important than that, like I talked to them last night, their excitement level to get to Jonesboro, it's real. They can't wait to get here and experience it and see everybody. So just fired up for them. And his story as a player and then a manager and those teams that he managed, but also him as a player. I mean, his story is tremendous. And so I think people are really going to enjoy listening to him and visiting with him and interacting with him.
I mean, experiencing the banquet the first time around last year, just how big, one, seeing the fan base so engaged the first time around with the banquet, just how big is it kind of carried the momentum, obviously, this time around, too?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a two answer question. So, like, obviously the program had a long way to go, and we're still in the building phase of this thing. The banquet exceeded my expectations. I mean, it's in the locker room for players, there's a buzz. I mean, it's an excitement. The new players, the older players are telling them. I thought us moving it to the embassy was a game changer for us, and just the experience and the feedback really from the people. Because I always say when you go in somewhere new, you go and you share your vision, but ultimately it's listening to the community, and they have the answers to the test. And so you want to make sure you deliver a really fun night for them, and moving it to a Friday night instead of, a weekday night, I think was really helpful. And just, the feedback we got after the banquet was tremendous. And we just want to make sure we meet or exceed those expectations every year.